Well, here's my little device, my regulated power supply, and she's doing pretty good. She's drawing a little under 3 amps, which is kind of wasteful, honestly. She's using a lot of power, but no more voltage sags, no more blown out UPSs, and I've decided, since I have enough batteries, I'm going to make another one. And since I ruined all the videos of me doing that, maybe I'll be able to shoot it again and show you. Oh, good boy. It's my helper. Okay, so these are the battery packs that I'm building. I got 144 cells. These are 22650s that I bought off auction from Battery Hookup. I'll give you a look at this. So they said roughly 100 of these. They said between 1 and 200 of these. I got too excited and didn't count. Not to mention, I was too lazy. The box was heavy. I didn't want to dump all that out and put it back in. So I got these for $200, and $200 shipping kind of killed me. But if I got 800 cells, that's still 50 cents a cell. I think about a third of them are bad. You do the math. Still not a bad price. So I spend my evenings cutting these open, and I snip out the BMS. By the way, if anybody needs a bunch of 3.2 volt lithium iron phosphate BMSs, I got a lot of these. 1S, don't know what to do with them, but I hate to throw them out, especially those battery connectors. It's a lot of good wire. So then I 3D printed these guys, and I can put the link to the file in. And I got 1, 2, 3, 4.5 of them. This one I just I put it in Tinkercad and just lopped it in half basically, and printed those. And so I take these cells out, re-sleeve them as needed, like this one needs it, and then I test them and charge them. This one was bad, so it goes into the recycling pile. Every now and then we'll get them that are kind of rusty and crusty, but again, about 2/3 of them are good cells. And you still got in the neighborhood of 3 amp hours each. So this is a 4S 36P battery, and what I did was I did positive, positive, negative, negative, positive, positive, negative, negative, so that it wasn't 36 long, but it's only 18 long. And I will weld all these up with my cool new welder. Oh well, first when I put them in, I tapped everything down because it is a very tight fit. So anyways, then I'll solder all these up with my handy dandy welder, and I'll put a gap in here like this, so that when I run the nickel strips from here to here, I'll have a little room, and then I can flip this one over. Oh, superior camera work. And then the completed battery pack looks like that, and then it fits very nicely into a double size battery case, and that gives me 12 volts, roughly 100 amp hours. This time I bought the real Dali BMS to put on it instead of the knockoff. We'll see if it's worth the extra money. I doubt it. Especially since this doesn't need cold weather protection because it won't be in the freezing cold. You're right, buddy boy. Yeah, so let's get to building the battery. I've tore down somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 or so of these, and I still got quite a few left. And again, I don't know, somewhere in the neighborhood of 75% probably. We're good. It's been a fun project. Keeps me busy. Out of those 400 cells or so, this is roughly what I've got left for the scrap heap. Oop, fingers. So I was throwing them away, and then it occurred to me that I should be sending these to the recycling center, so I started keeping them here. When I'm done, I'll just take the whole box to battery recycler. Yuck. The first thing I do is I test the packs to see which ones are going to hold voltage and which ones are bad. The ones that hold voltage, I tear them down, put them here, then run them individually through these chargers. Anything over 100 milliohms I throw out. Now, although it's still an okay battery, I don't want to build a big old battery pack and have one old cell, one weak cell. And I got a whole bunch of shrink to rewrap them as needed. And after I charge them, then I wrap them and put them here for staging until they're ready to be put in the pack. Then I measure and cut my nickel strips. So these are for all the way down. And what I do is I measure from here to here roughly, and I cut one piece as a jig, and then I just go and snip a ton of these. This is it's a 0.15 by 8, I believe, nickel strip. And of course a little YouTube to keep me inspired while I'm working. This is Robert Murray Smith. I'll watch him, I'll watch Emily the Engineer, DeBoss Garage. Yeah, it keeps my brain activated while I'm doing boring things like snipping little pieces of nickel strip. Alright, here we go. We're welding up the battery. Trying a new camera mount, see if that helps. I've got a very important accessory on my welder. I got my Puddles Pity Party sticker. Maybe he'll make it rich and give me some endorsement money. Ha! Doubt it. He is a great singer, Puddles Pity Party. Check him out on YouTube. So I'm running this thing at gear 9.5. The 0.7 second delay, and right now the capacitors are up to around 5.2 volts, and if I go like crazy I will run the capacitors down and have to let her charge up again a bit, but by then the cables are hot, and so I'll give the whole thing a rest, maybe file down the tips a little bit, get a fresh contact on them. I just run on down the line like this and put 4 welds in each one. I put 6 welds on the end. I don't know what's required and what's necessary. I really don't. I'm not going to act like I'm an expert here. But this thing is a monster. I could do this all day. About halfway down my second strip, and this got down to 4.1 volts on the capacitor. So we're going to give her a little break. Here's one more thing I do. So at the end of the battery, this is some insulation, but what I'll do is I'll run a tab out for the battery management system, and then this is some 0.2 by 10 nickel strip that I have, and I'll put that down because that'll be my main positive. So then I can solder a big old wire to this, and I'll probably have to crank this up to about 14 to tack through this heavier stuff. And so that'll give me this will be my number 4 cell bank, and this will be the positive. So, but like on this one, on the bottom, I'll put one of these small tabs coming out so that I can solder the lead for the BMS. and then on the next one, you know, positive, and then positive, number one positive, and then on the number one I'll put one of these on the negative lead also. Alright, so I've got the battery flipped over, and I've got the strips run all the way down. I don't have them all tacked down yet, but it's time for me to go to work, so I gotta get going. So I made one more jig, and these will go all the way across. So now this is a 2S 6-volt battery, and I'll tack all these down all the way across the bottom, and then I put the Kapton tape over to protect it, especially when I'm not right in front of it. Okay, there's the back side all soldered up. So like I said, that gives me 6 volts on this. And now I'll cut 2 long strips, and then I will run all the way across to the next battery. Okay, now here's a serious situation. I'm welding, and double checking my battery placement as I go, and looky here. I have one battery upside down. If I would have welded these together, we would have had big sparks, instant short, lots and lots of trouble. So I have to take this apart, which I can't do one-handed, and I need to flip that cell. And this cell. I need to flip this cell. So, glad I caught that. So I sent that cell off to be re-sleeved, and I'll put another one in the proper orientation. And then I can put my put my spacers back on, and then we can finish welding this one up. Bonk, bonk. There we go. A couple taps. Oh, I'm using all these metal tools with batteries. You have to be very careful not to short your cells out. And like that one I showed you, if you do damage the sleeve, take it out, re-sleeve it.